Bank and Check Manager. The Bank and Check Manager is a special area of the CRM Check Writer. You access the area right here, and there are many things that you can do. You can print a check to someone. You can print a check from someone or to someone. You can print blank checks. You can balance your checkbook. You can maintain an unlimited number of banks or credit card accounts or loans, etc. First thing to do is probably to add a bank account. So you click there. Let me go back and click again so I can show you exactly where I can click here. And from here you add an account. Essentially add a bank, a credit card loan, maybe even a bank loan, etc. A bank loan, so you can have the payments, etc. and control on your reconciliation part. So I'm gonna add an account. Gonna fill in pretty quickly, and then we can see several things. For example, the next check number, you can change that. Obviously, this is the position of the MIRC, which is those special numbers that checks have at the bottom. So you can move them, even though this should be okay, but you can move them around. The quantity to print, etc. when you are printing blank checks, not when you're printing one by one. You can do it one or many. You can link to a particular to the contact underneath. So for example, if that account somehow belongs to the contact underneath, not necessarily client, so I'm gonna link this. I can link this one or selected accounts. In this case I only have one, so the current I can link it to the contact underneath. I can, by clicking shift, I have shortcuts here up to seven banks that I can shortcut with one click. So I'm gonna press shift. Here you have the instructions in the tooltip. So I'm gonna press with shift and link this account to this button. So if I have many accounts for different reasons, I can at least have 7 that I don't need to do a find. I can just click with one click, and you can see right here in the tooltip the basic data of this account. Okay. You can program your login to your bank website. This is not a must. This is something that you could do, and also you can list if you have many. If you have many, you can list. Now let's experiment just a little bit with the basic stuff. Here we have the register, which basically registers all the checks that you do. If here, so you can do a reconciliation at the end of the month right here. And this is a very special reconciliation because it tells you with words what is wrong, not only with numbers but with words, so you can reconciliate. Also you can print blank checks, as we said before, and you can print them in groups of 1 or 3. So let's do it in a group of 3 right now, at least to view it. So I'm printing right here. You can see that we have the basic data here, the bank. This is supposedly you, and well, these are blank checks that you print and pay with them. You know, you need to buy a blank check paper from Office Depot. They sell these in group of 3 or in group of 1. So when you are paying or doing a check draft, it's better to do 1. But when you do blank checks, probably better to do it in 3. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to the program. Did they print correctly? If I say yes, well, the number of the check, the next check will change, as you can see. So that's that. Then we have calculator here, etc. So that is the basic stuff. You can enter an initial balance date, because obviously most probably you're not starting your your statements from 0, so you're gonna start with something. Let's put 10,000 here. That's your initial. And also you can put a logo for print logo on checks, you know, so you can paste your own logo, or it's gonna be the first letter of the name that automatically will be there. Okay, so now we're gonna try to do check draft. Check draft is a check that you print on your computer and deposit into your bank without your client's signature. That's why, let me go back here for a second. That's why we have this draft signature that could be different. I mean, in some cases you may use a different kind of wording. This draft had been pre-authorized by your client, so this is not necessarily the only draft signature that you can use. I've seen others, and also you can change obviously the number here. You can put anything. We have some defaults, but you can change it and put any number you want, lower or higher. So anyway, let's go back here, and we're gonna do a check draft. So that means a check that comes from your client. Okay, so we'll click here, click to do check from contact. So the contact is this one, is doing a check. You are doing a check because you have a contract with this potential client that allows you to create a check legally, even over the phone. Is valid, but of course the more kind of a proof you have, I mean kind of a written contract, would be a little bit better. I'm not an attorney, so this is not legal advice, but you know, I understand that it's legal to do it on the phone, but again, you should be as safe as possible, so to speak. Here you're gonna put the select the bank that you want to be deposit. So that you're going to deposit, because nothing is going to happen automatically. This is something that will happen by you sending the check to the bank. But at least the deposit is going to be made internally automatically, so that check will produce a deposit into that particular registry of the bank. So you select the bank. In this case, is the bank of the client. The client gave you this name and possibly the address, even though it's not necessary, and possibly also the phone number. Only makes it nicer in the check to have that. And the account. Well, this is the account of your clients. No dashes or anything, just numbers. And the writing, which would be 9 digits long. So let's see, we're going to put this. And then the check number, which it doesn't matter that much these days, but you should have a check number that your client gave you, essentially. And from there, you can do the next one and next one if you have recurrent payments with these clients. So I'm going to put here 2010. That would be a check number. Now here you see the payee could be the name or the company. The company will be Beachcomber Realty, and the name Porsche. So, well, that is whatever it is. Whatever is correct is the one that you would select here. That's all. Then the date. Whatever is the date, you can choose any date obviously here. Also you can be if you want to print a post-dated check, you can put you know, like 7 days or whatever, or today, and in an easy way. Or you can select a date. So usually you're gonna do it for the day. You can have unlimited groups here that then are gonna be transferred into the register area. And so you know, so this one could be anything. So you add let's add something. Let's put here sales, and then it's gonna be for deposit. So I insert by clicking here, and I have sales here. The amount, let's put 1,000 here, and a memo, whatever. Payment of Gizmo number 1. Okay, these are private notes, so you can have, so these are my private notes that if you print in a one-page check, it'll be right there. So this is kind of important, because tomorrow you probably won't remember exactly. So whatever notes you put, try to be to describe as much as possible. Then to add this check to the list of checks to print, you just either click here, the plus sign here, or click here. So either one is correct, and it's exactly the same. Alright, so I'm gonna click, and it's asking me if I'm gonna print in 1 or 3 page checks. I strongly recommend that you use one-page checks when you're doing checks to pay or draft, because there is an error here, and this particular error is because we don't have a setup company. Okay, so I'm going to set up this company. Alright, this is not of interest to anything, and that's it. This is going to be our default company. So now we go again to Bank and Checks Manager, and this time it should work. So I'm gonna click plus one page, and yep, it worked. So we have here checks to print, yes, the date of the check, bank and account number. If you want to just preview it kind of quickly, you just can click on it and we'll preview it here. Okay, so this is how it will look. As you can see, have the P automatically for Porsche, just for looks, and the amount and everything, and the draft signature that basically is saying that you are authorized by your client. There are other things that can be here. So that's just a preview, not a printing. So you can print the check. So let's see how it looks. So we're going to print. As a matter of fact, you could click here. For example, let's say that I have selected these, and I have many people that I have checks to do, and that's possible to do potentially unlimited. So I can click Find Contacts with Checks to Print. And this is kind of important because it tells you that you have one check to print and the total money. Especially when you're paying, this money is important when you're paying, because you need to know that you have the money in your bank. So so in this case, one check to print is also important because, well, there's a number of paper that you need to put in your printer. So in this case, it's just one, but it could be, 10, 20, whatever. And then you can put all the checks because they're gonna print one after the other. Okay, I can do it one by one if I want to by clicking here, but usually you want to do them all. And so we have just one. So if I click print, select the checks, that means that one, but it could be 20. Okay, so so I'm gonna print, and remember that I could be printing 20 checks now. All right, so I'm gonna go to the this screen printer driver. Well, I have actually the check there, but because I didn't delete before the ones that I had, so it's right here. You see, this is the one that we printed a little bit before, the empty check, and this is the one that we just printed now, I'm gonna move here, I'm gonna scroll so you can see it, and I can explain that the notes are here. So this top part will be for the bank, that you have some dots here to cut the check, and this one will be for your accountant. And so you have here the private notes. All of that is kind of important. In this case, I'm going to close so we don't have this problem again. Did the check print correctly? If you have paper jam or something, you say no. If you say yes, well, the checks go here, checks printed. So you have it here. You can put them back to print just by changing these. Okay, so you can do yes, and boom, they jump right here, and vice versa. So that's that. So you can always see them here. And this is kind of very important because you have a list of all the checks printed from this person or to this person. Okay, so now we're gonna do a check to someone, and the check, well, I'm gonna select a different person just not to confuse. So I'm gonna select a different person here, and I can click here to do a check to the person. I can do it to that person, I can do it to that company, in this case whatever, Bohin. And so I can select from which bank I'm gonna print the check. So this can be payroll, it can be something that you owe, it's a check that you're doing for someone. And the check number, when you click, is gonna reflect the check, the next check that you had here in the bank account for this particular account. So if you remember, then we can go back to see it. If you remember, was 1,004. So we have 1,004 here. Same thing here. We can put a date. Can be post dated. Well, that is not. It's a gray area, but anyway. And I'm gonna put here 250. And the memo, I'm gonna put loan that I'm doing to this person for whatever reason, because he is my friend. So this is because. Yeah. By the way, we have a spelling checker, which is very good, very handy. And okay, so same thing here. It's no difference. The difference is what is going to happen with the check, but no difference here how you will create the check, so to speak. So I click add, same thing. You can do it in 3 per page. Not a good idea in my opinion, so better to do it in 1. The only idea to do it is if you use a lot of blank checks. Yes, in that case you should use 3 page or 3 per page checks. And now we have the same thing. I mean, we have another check, only that in this case is the opposite. I'm gonna print from here. I could do exactly the same, but I'm gonna print from here. And I have this. Okay, so in this case, this is you. Before, in the draft, you were here. In this case, you are here, and the contact is here, and that's it. You print the check, and end of the story. Now we're gonna see, so we're gonna say yes, we're gonna see what's going on in the register part of it. Okay, so here in the register we have, as you can see, 2 things. One is a deposit, because it came from a check that someone did to you, so that's gonna be entered as a deposit. And in this one is a check, 1,004 is a number that you did for this person. Okay, and here if we go to reconciliation system, we're gonna see right now we have a check of 250, we remember, and we have a deposit. So so this is the balance that you should have in your enter balance from your account statement. So if let's say that you didn't have any other checks or deposit in your account statement, most probably you can change this number, because this is the real number that you put in your account statement. So if your account statement right now says, for example, 1,000, or let's put 2,000 in your account statement, well, then there is a difference of 2,000. Okay, and here to refresh the suggestion, so you have non-deposit clear, whatever. If it was in this case 750 in your statement, let's say the difference in this case is 750. So these things, when you post them, meaning that they appear in your bank statement, you see the difference is 0, and then click here to post statement. So in other words, that you say that your monthly statement had been reconciled, and you can click to post the statement, and then you have it, conciliated, and that's fine. So so that's that related to the reconciliation. Of course, you can add your, and you should, because not everything is our checks. You can do deposits that they don't come from a check draft, so they can come from whatever, from your income. It can come from any other source. So you can add deposit, credit notes, debit notes, etc. You can duplicate a transaction just to modify something with this. You can find transaction. Everything is very easy. We have a filter here that you can select, so you can filter by anything, almost anything that you want here, and produce a list of those results. And same thing here, you can have a report, you can print that report and pull your records. So let's see now, if we go back to the banks, we'll go to the banks. If we go to the this one will be to here, as you know, and we have here these two things, so you can see at a glance, without even entering into the registry, the latest transactions that you made. They're going to be at the top. You can even have, and this is important, I forgot, and you can have recurrent transactions. So let's say, for example, that you are a landlord and you receive, or vice versa, or you're paying to your landlord, and you have a recurrent transaction. Okay, so your landlord is going to have essentially is going to withdraw automatically, or it's going to be paid off automatically to his account, which is perfectly possible. In that case, you can add a debit note, for example, and put here whatever, landlord, and whatever. Here, let's put John Smith is your landlord, and it's gonna be whatever. Let's put 250, 260, and it will be every month. And well, the time, whatever. If you have a contract for 12 months, it's gonna be like that. And so that means, and this is your running total. That's another thing. You know how much money do you have, even into the future. Another important feature that your bank will never can tell. So obviously your bank cannot tell that. Let's say that this one, the date of this one is not today, but it's on the 17th, or actually even more. I'm gonna put it a little bit far away, the first here. So that means that, yeah, by that date you will be in a negative if nothing changes. I mean, if you don't receive any deposits, but at least you know that. Your bank doesn't know that, and so you don't get that number from your bank, and that's why, having this kind of practical accounting with your bank is not a good idea, because your bank only goes for whatever had been clear or pending. In that case, pending meaning right there, pending immediately, but not into the future. So here you can have into the future, and you can say, oh my God, I'm gonna be in red by November the 1st. Well, if I don't put more money, I know how much money to put, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so I hope that is kind of clear, and that's pretty much that. Even though, of course, there are other things that you should consider. I believe that I made a mistake before saying that this ad was to add a check, and that was my mistake. Only this one will add the check. That's only. Another little thing that you should know is that you can do a check endorsement. For example, for the previous person, right? This one. You can, for example, create an endorsement. This is very useful endorsement for deposit only, and you can put, for example, account, whatever is the account, whatever is your account in this case, right? And whatever is the bank that we have, bank one, I believe, one, okay, for bank one. Okay, so bank one, and then your name, in this case, yours Harrison, I believe that we put there. So by doing that, you can print this endorsement in your check. Pretty useful. So you don't make mistakes. You have it just once. You know that is correct. This one, I mean, if you want to do this example kind of perfectly, you can grab this account number, and that will be the account that you should use here. Okay, and now you print it, and it's gonna look essentially the same. You can print one or three. Usually it's gonna be one, right? So here we go. So we're printing. It's gonna look nice here in the position. So it's gonna be in the reverse of the check. Pretty easy, pretty convenient. And another thing, well, you can also print envelopes if you're sending the checks to someone. You can, for example, do the second person that we used, and you can print an envelope here. I recommend that you print a double window envelope insert. Actually, you can print an envelope too, by the way, but I recommend that you print this one because it's so easy, and you know, like this. So this is from you to whoever you're sending the check. Pretty convenient, easy to do, and that's pretty much all of the bank and check manager. I don't think that I'm forgetting anything, so enjoy it.